So now Walty is going to tell us about 7.2, the general return. We're going to see numerous accounts of the return, different versions of the different stages of it. We start with a quote of the Periphysium number 3 of Eriugena. Remember, for God shall be all in all, and every creature, including Walty, shall be overshadowed, that is, covered to God, converted to God, as the stars when the sun arises. So you're part of it all, you see. So one of these accounts is the general return of sensible creation, which takes place in 5 stages. Stage number 1 will be the body is dissolved back into the 4 elements of the Word. At the resurrection, then, second stage, each will receive its own body back from the elements. The third one is the return of the body into spirit. The fourth one, the return of the spirit into the primordial causes. And finally, the whole of nature with the causes returns into God. Then there will be only God. Okay, so let's go to slide number 2 of today's presentation. Here we have it. And another count retraces the process of division back to unity. So we have here the contrasting back and forth of that process. First, created nature is divided from what is not created. Second, created nature is divided into sensible and intelligible. Third, the sensible is divided into heaven and earth. Fourth, paradise is distinguished from the inhabited globe. Fifth, humanity is segregated into male and female. And the resolution will be happening in the opposite way. Then the male and female become unified as one humanity. Then on the fourth, the inhabited globe is transformed into paradise. Then earthly bodies become heavenly bodies. Then the sensible creature is unified and transformed into intelligible creature. And then the universal creature is united with its creator. Specifically on sexual division, it means that for turning away from wholesomeness of primal creation, to be rid of all division, sexual division transcended. So the sexual division is going to be transcended in unity through the Word. Why there will be no sexual difference in the resurrection? We take it from Galatians 3:28. There is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male and female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. Okay, so let's go to the next one, which is number 3. Here we go. There's the third account of the return, specific return of human nature in Periphysium number 5. So first, the earthly body is changed into vital motion. Second, vital motion into sense. Third, sense into reason, reason into mind. And then there's other 3, which are the 3 final steps, which are beyond nature. The mind is absorbed into knowledge. 6th one will be knowledge into wisdom. And the 7th and final one, wisdom into the divine darkness, supernatural falling into God Himself. So the first 4 steps are become one as all the sensible aspects of human nature are absorbed into reason, a step that takes place with nature, and then the 3 final steps are beyond nature. So let's read about number 4. Let me take you there. There you go. All created things must return to their source. Sinners and saints alike shall be converted into spirits. So we're going to see how Eriugena justifies this, because this is controversial. A celestial angelic body will be restored to the just and the unjust after the resurrection. Because the consequences of asserting that the wicked will be damned eternally are that if the Word of God took human nature upon him, it was not part of it, but the whole of it universally, then the whole of it which is restored in him. So the whole of human nature has to be restored in him. Therefore, even those who are wicked in their essential nature will be restored in him. The difference lies in what we're going to talk about, because the dilemma is either eliminate eternal punishment or remove from a part of creation the dominion of the divine goodness. And it seems that doing either or would be a mistake. So we're going to see how Eriugena resolves this problem. So the answer is given in Neoplatonic fashion, looking at evil as a privation of the good, which is also in St. Augustine. Evil and sin as alien to the divine nature, not created by God. So it's very important to understand that evil is always understood in a privative sense. Whatever is not found in nature cannot be found in the divine knowledge. And we have a quote here: the manner of sexual propagation, bodily increase and decrease, diseases, death, and the irrational impulses of the soul derive from matter. They originate from sin and are not, therefore, part of the primal creation. Accordingly, only these things will perish when creation will have become free from passions. Okay, let's go quickly to number 5. And here we have: so then what about sinners and the evil ones? Does this mean that hell does not exist? So sin, Eriugena makes this distinction, pertains to will, not to nature. The nature, even of wicked people, cannot be punished. It is the will of wicked people and angels that shall abide in the torment of empty dreams for eternity. The wicked will be denied a theophany of God. So their own nature still belongs there, but because they are disclosed, they are apart from the actual true nature through sin and the insistence and the perseverance of their fantasia, then they will not have a theophany, they will not have a sense of the presence of God. Fantasies of evil can never be destroyed and will be preserved in the consciousness of evildoers, who will be submerged eternally in profound ignorance of the truth. So, therefore, we get to the conclusion that God does not actually punish the wicked. Their own consciences do that for them. This is consistent with Eriugena's exegesis of Genesis 3:14-19, where God does not curse the things God has made. All just share the same nature, but not all will share in the same grace. Very good. Next one, number 6, only 2 to go. All human bodies will be restored to unity and eternal immortality, but not all will be restored to bliss. Only those angels who are aflame with love of the creation, and only those people who are called according to the divine purpose will become deified. So here we have the dual nature of the bestowal of gift and grace, being and well-being, from James 1:17, which is: every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. All nature will return then to its original state, since all have been bestowed with the gift of being, which can never be taken away. But the grace of well-being involves the reward of deification, the exaltation of special souls, the blessed or elect. The divine goodness bestows not only being and well-being, but also eternal being. Deification being made God, it is not by nature, but by grace. So we have a quote here from Purificium number 3. Not that even now God is not all in all, but after the sin of human nature and its expulsion from the abode of paradise, when that is its... Okay, let me read this again. Not that even now God is not all in all, so God is still all in all, but that after the sin of human nature and its expulsion from paradise, when that is, it was thrust down from the height of the spiritual life and knowledge of the most clear wisdom into the deepest darkness of ignorance, no one, unless illuminated by divine grace and wrapped with Paul into the height of the divine mysteries, can see with the sight of true understanding how God is all in all. Right, so this can only be shown by God, because within the fall, from within the fall, we cannot just simply voluntarily reach for that, although our behavior is very important. Sinning or not sinning makes the whole difference. So, okay, last one here. It's going to be here. There you go. Boom, boom. Holy souls then not only are going to be called back to paradise, but symbolically also to eat of the tree of life. And here I want to recommend a very interesting YouTube channel from this guy called Jay Dyer. He is an Orthodox Christian who's really, really well versed in theology in general. I haven't heard any videos of him made about Eriugena specifically, but he's really amazing. He really knows what he's talking about, whether you agree with him or not. That's another matter, but deep knowledge from this guy, so I really recommend it. Jay Dyer. So what we will be waiting for will be the Sabbath of Sabbaths, so that the house of God shall be filled. And it will be also a theophany of theophanies. So those souls who are called back to paradise will eat from the tree of life, which is considered a theophany of theophanies. All right, so a real presence in the presence of God, which is actually a very dynamic process with Eriugena that actually never ends. Yeah, in which you have many options within the goodness of paradise. Okay, so that's what paradise is choices within the good. Into the cloud of dark, which is freedom, by the way. Into the cloud of darkness surrounding God. Again, we have this counterposition of light and darkness. Ultimately, we'll be talking about a darkness within the clouds of God as an image. All right, so human intellect ascends through charity. Divine wisdom descends through compassion. So these are qualities that we can enact in real life that actually have a very deep and high spiritual significance. They're connected with the beyond this life. This is very, very extremely important to understand, actually. Connects with the grounding principles of morality. Return of saints and sinners equals the parable of the wise and the foolish virgins. You can look it up. So another very potent analogy for the theophany of the returned soul, is this fact that human intellect descends through charity, divine wisdom descends through compassion. each will see God according to capacity. For one's place in the hierarchy of theophanies depends on one's conduct in this life. Into the secret temple, and I will say that the same way that the Eriugena talks about this immediacy of the fall, the immediacy of the almost simultaneously in terms of ontological terms of the beginning and the end, that it is the same for all these aspects. When we talk about the context, like you don't have to be a good boy or a good girl in order to be rewarded in heaven only. You have to be a good boy and a good girl because the punishment is being bad. If you're a bad person, the punishment is not that you're going to have a karmic there's going to be a karmic repercussion, which it will happen. But just the fact that you are an evil person is the punishment itself. So there is an instantaneity of your evil actions, your evil thoughts, and your evil feelings with the way you are being in that moment, which is hell itself, or at least partly hell itself. Yeah. So shrine of wisdom equals the word. So the word, again, always connected with all these concepts. They will behold all things in their causes. In the darkness there is, in fact, light. So we have always this counterposing concepts, these paradoxical affirmations of the unnameable reality of the essence of the divine. So this is also used by Plotinus. As we know, Neoplatonism has a very big influence in Eriugena. However, it is still very much Christian, and in its outlook very much influenced by, for example, Maximus the Confessor, the pseudo Dionysius, and so on and so forth. So we're done now with 7.2, and we're going to look for Woti again. Let's see if he joins us in the next video.